Hello everyone, welcome to week 2 of a Python bootcamp. What I have learned this week is I learned how to write if-else statement. In terminology it's called branching. And the second is I learned how to write function. And also what is the way to tackle unknown problems you never encountered before. First thing I would like to introduce a person to you is Mr. Bull. He invented Boolean value, true or false, and also it's important to understand Boolean values, especially when you write if statements, is to set conditions that allow computer to make decisions and evaluate whether it is true or false or go through the whole statements. And what is a statement? Statement is instruction. You ask computer to do what you want. He is a genius, and I just read something about him, his life, and he never went to formal education. Maybe he graduated from the primary school and he never stopped learning. He was a self-taught mathematician. He never went to formal universities, which is so inspiring. More details, please check on Wikipedia. And the second thing I learned is how to communicate with computers. What I felt is to be patient with yourself. When you write some codes, you are not sure, but you are curious to see computers' behavior. You made an assumption for the outputs, and what I did was to put all thoughts on PowerPoints while learning materials. Then ask myself, what is going on? What will happen if I write this code? What does this mean to me? Can I get what I expected for? Basically, I tried to communicate with myself and a computer. And my conclusion is I don't need to be afraid of errors and mistakes. We are designers for computers. We design situation and condition instruction for computers to follow. When I wrote some codes and I must syntax of a Python, as long as it is right syntax, and the computer will follow and give me an output. Even if it's a wrong output, it's still an output. I really enjoy the whole process of learning by thinking, by doing, by testing. I spent lots of my time in going through materials, notebook. It is a joy for me. We have an assignment Sudoku solver. I really enjoy it. The first time I can feel my knowledge in Python started to make sense is when I was doing this assignment. And I kind of get something out of this experience. I never had that feeling really clear in my mind. So codes is the representation of your thinking. What I learned about problem solving skills is to think about how you represent the problem itself. In real life, you definitely encounter a problem you never see before. Don't panic, just think about what can we do for the first step. Can you describe the problem? My approach is to explain a situation to a person. In this case, I explain to myself. How to represent a problem is just to write something about it, to read something about it, to speak something about it. So for us, we have to understand problem enough to write first solution. Even it's really stupid solution, and it doesn't do anything at all. Maybe there's some codes is just rubbish, but it's okay because you got time to do it. You got time to improve it. But in Python, you have to use numbers to represent problems and try to get output, because computer only understands binary conditional statements, if else, if condition statements, right? Conditions is something Python can evaluate true, false. They are Boolean type conditions. If else statement is really similar to the way we think. If something happens, then we do this step. If something did not happen, then we do another step. As I said before, computer is a machine that does all computing tasks, which you design instructions. Computer would definitely follow those instructions to get you output. What is condition? I heard you say. Condition can represent value, variable, expression. And when I was learning materials, I asked myself, hang on a minute, can I add condition after else? Like else condition columns. At this point, I have to think, because it's easy to Google it. I know probably a lot of people just like, you can Google it if you're not sure. Sure, you definitely can Google it, but how can I solve the problem without looking at my notes, without looking at Google? Can I just test it out? Yes, I can. So I made an assumption, assumed, yes, I can write condition after else before column. And I wrote my assumption down on a PowerPoint. Of course, you can write down on paper. Then I wrote codes to see if it didn't give me errors or something else. Alright, I posed the question, can we add conditions after else before columns? Someone gave me this code. I think it's really good explanation. When you have animated the all impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So I like that, because like if you say something, if it's not, that's going to be the truth. But I do hear people saying, I just want to write, all conditions at the same time. How can I do that if else could not help me? What we can do if we wanted to write multiple conditions, we can use else if, abbreviation ERF, condition 2, and then you write statements 3, statements 4, and ELF condition 3, statements 5, statement 6, and then you can write tons of conditions to make Python smarter. Can we write if else? I don't want to else if. I just want to write if else. Yes, we can, but what is the differences between a train of else if and if else? Nested conditional statements and chain of conditions. Another concept is demonstrate the differences between nested conditional statements and chain of if conditions. In summary, nested conditional statements are more complicated because there are multiple outcomes you wanted to know, so there are different levels. By nested conditional statements, we can know the number we input is not even number and it's odd number, because it can't be divided by 2 for the first condition, and second condition you set up to is we wanted to know the number can be divided by 5. As for a chain of conditions, we only have layer 1, which is if the number we input can be divided by 2, 3, 5, 7. However, so like the first if it didn't go through and you go into another branch, which is else. So what we got, the output is 15 is odd, and the 15 is also divisible by 5. And for a chain of condition, we can know, yes, else if it's going to be happen, this condition is going to happen. So 15 can be divided by 3. And the output we got is 15 is divisible by 3. It's different. And then we have a single line of code, which is really sexy concept. What is conditional expressions, as you can see on the left, and also the if statements on your right, and we can know the differences between these two is the focus. So the first one is focus on the equal to true value, which is the expression. And the second thing is if statements focus on the if condition. So it's, like I said before, as similar to the way we think. I would like to have a small talk actually about, because I'm not, it's a vlog and I want to tell you what actually happened during the last week. So I was preparing for my interview. I applied for a visa, business visa, which allows me to do business in the UK. I am from China, so I know the English, sometimes my accent is not really good, but I hope you enjoy it, because I'm just trying to make something out of my experience and my understanding. I always believe if I want to learn something, I would love to teach people, and hopefully you guys can feel useful. And also, for me personally, I enjoying doing this way, doing the video, visualize the concepts. And also, it was intense last week. I've been working on my business plan and preparing for interview questions. It was super intense, and I don't have the time to do other things. And after that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have really good day to learning Python. I love it so much. You know, I've been learning Python for 2 years. Not necessarily 2 years. I went to the master's school. I went to postgraduate, but I didn't understand at all at that time. And I went to work at a data consultancy, and it was the time I finally understand. But for this time, I joined this coding boot camp. It's really good. I recommend everyone can join. And I just trying to document this process, and for me to really be accountable to finish all the things. And my target is going to release 20 videos. It's going to be difficult, but I really enjoy it, and I hope you can give me some feedback and I can improve a lot. I'm still learning a lot how to do good content. My account at the moment, my channel is really at the early stage. So yeah, so far so good. See you next week.